Yo, what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we got a hot sauce one for you. It is intense right now. We have multiple behemoths being dropped here on SS1. This is one of the biggest epic open field fights that we thankfully ended up getting a little bit of a heads up on. Right, so we got UNT's Giant Bear. We have two Thunder Rocks, one from Forbidden and one from NT45. Right, so you essentially have kind of a 2-on-1 situation here with the North versus the South for the behemoths that have been set. You got NT45 up here. We got Forbidden. Again, that's putting some damage. You see GOK, UNT over here. Let's see who else is actually in the fight. Okay, cool. So we got some APK that's in here as well. Wow, they got a lot of people that are down. And again, there's a lot of spreading that's happening right now. Ooh, look, dude, even TR. Look, you could even see the Reds are coming in from the north, right? So remembering that the ally kind of situation that we have here is, right, you got at the top, we got NT45, you got TA, TR, we got Forbidden, and then you got 4BN1. On the southern side, you have UNT, you have APK, GOK, and then POS, right? Those are the four, unless we end up seeing another one that's been added. I mean, I believe it should have also been XIII, but I'm not sure how that one's playing. But yeah, look at this. I mean, there's so many players right here. And again, right, trying to, what it feels like, and I think this is one of those situations where it's really important to, make sure you're spreading out. And it seems like the southern allies are doing a good job of that, not bunching up too much, with the exception, I guess, of right here in this immediate moment. But you can see over here where the southern or the southernmost Thunder Rock is, right? This is one of those situations where you just spread out, especially when multiple behemoths are on, right? Like if your players are generally not strong enough to go ahead and kill it, then my recommendation is just to avoid and then go ahead and focus on attacking the players themselves. And just waiting for the cooldown to run out. Also trying to get out of their range, is one thing that could be done as well. And you look, dude, you got some NT45 players here, and it looks like they are, or are they? I can't tell if they're attacking Marika there or not. But it looks like, oh wow, so it looks like they were single. Okay, look, a little bit single target fire focus here on Slitherfang. I like how you could see the. I've never actually really paid attention too much to the kind of the sub layers, the sub pathing routes there, but I guess that does kind of go into it. And this is, again, this is kind of like what we saw yesterday, right? Where, some of the NT45 players at least gave me the impression, right, that they were kind of moving a little bit more in unison, right? And you can kind of tell where it looked like they were single target fire focusing, and now they're kind of backing up a little bit, right? And they're kind of playing the back and forth game so they can look for those numbers advantages now that the behemoth has got a little bit farther down. Let's see what else we got kind of going up. I wonder why all of this is so shiny. And part of it, I feel like the game is just pixelating on me because I had something that, oh yeah, see it is. You can see here on the button, and I'm part of the star up here. So, dude, what can I say, man? My game is so my game is so dope that it's just gold. It's just unearthing itself from the soil. I guess we could argue. Okay, so let's see what's going on up here. So looks like Behemoth is gone. Okay, so we're getting some more people coming in now for this fight. Awesome. So we're probably going to get a little retreat, and then they'll probably end up going back in. And then we'll see how that one plays out. Oh, I don't want to look at that. There we go. Nice. Yeah, because again, man, they have good numbers, right? These are... Oh, cool. So the Thunder Rock, too, they're still fighting the Thunder Rock over here. Ooh, that was major damage there on Agent Shadow. And then are they fighting another one? Okay, doesn't look like. Cool. Okay, so now we're good. We don't have to really look at any other Thunder Rocks. We can just chill and watch some of the fighting now. All right. With that in mind, as always, right, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell. And, of course, if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find a link to that in the pinned comment description right down below. And remember, man, new videos are coming out every day at 14 UTC, 9 a.m. Eastern Time in-game. Or I should say 9 a.m. Eastern Time outside of game. All right. So finally we're getting, I like this too as well, man. Look at this, like a little bit of single target fire focus here on Kinesia. Didn't actually hit the kill, and the Madeline from UNT is making the escape. Oh, beast. That was pretty cool though, right? You saw a lot of people that were doing that. And this is one of the things that, you're obviously going to hear me, mention and talk about a lot. Because for me, when I'm watching the PvP, and I like this how everyone is kind of feeling each other out, right? It almost feels like, at least in this moment here, who knows if it's going to sustain, whether everyone's either kind of going back to their side or they're kind of doing the wave thing, right? Where it's like, shh, shh, right? And then it's, shh, or it's, shh, and you're trying to keep yourselves right at that type of max distance so you're not ever kind of overextending into that type of situation. And what's interesting as well, if you also notice, right, there's barricades that have been placed on both sides, right? So part of it is, you almost want them to push on you, right? Because, and this is kind of cool, like if you look at this, dude, they've done a really good job of barricading this choke point. I mean, it's a big choke point when you consider from the inside of the lower side of the canyon over here to the river, but you can see they've done a great job of barricading everything. So, you can make the argument that you want them to push on you, right? And then if you look on the southern side here, again, they've done a decent job. Their barricade isn't as thick, right? They kind of have this opening here where they can still come through to avoid. And so I think the north has done a little bit better job of prepping. And then even in these situations, right, I wonder if they have any keeps that are up. Oh, see, so they do have one over here. In this situation, I probably would have placed a keep, arguably maybe somewhere around here, like on the first or maybe on the second or third barricade layer. And then, maybe like here, here, and here, or just one generally in the middle, right, that has the highest chance. Because either if they decide to avoid the keep, then they either all have to go one way or they have to split, right? So now I want to talk about kind of general strategy when you are in this type of a situation, right? So when you're at this kind of stalemate position, one of the things that you really want to do that I think is extremely important is that you are then starting to play the ranged poke game, right? So this is where, you're going to start kind of doing mage to mage, and right, anytime you see people that are extending, that's what you do, right? So you're basically just starting to create mismatches and advantages for yourself, right? So an example would be, take 10 mages over here, 10 mages to the left, and then you focus fire on the unit that is sticking out the farthest, right? Or that is the most overextended. An example would be like here in Kevin, right? So you'll hit Kevin, right? Or you'll go wide over here, right? And then look at this, dude. So water. So and this is one of the cool things, right? I love the whole flying thing. It's just with flying, right? One of the things that would be a lot better to do if you have, I just want to say, like, as far as, I don't know if I say better to do, but just one tactic is where you take all your flying units and you don't fight on the front lines, you flank, right? And then you start hitting the units that are running. Because if you hit the units that are running to the front lines, there's a higher chance that they just may not be paying attention, right? Because they just figured, okay, well, I sent my unit there. Let me go back and do something real quick. If you hit units like that, like Clover here, right? Or you just kind of hang out here in this area and then you wait for them to go along the path, that's where you can just get a lot of free damage. And if you have enough flying units, right? Like if you had a squad of 10, 15, 20, right? And everyone's just kind of, because remember, it would require you to have a lot more micro in that regard as well, because if you have to basically be paying attention to the main force and then going back to that unit. But that's one of the great things that you can do in this type of a game because of the ranged variance, and then also because of the flying being able to flank and go over the rivers, right? So you have a lot more opportunity. That's one of the things we really haven't seen yet, and I'm excited for that possibility on what type of strategic depths that we can see there from even just like flying units, right? That I still think are very underutilized at the moment. Dude, this is intense though. Look at all this. Yo, Lexi, that's my girl right there. What up? Man, Kano, there we go. Nice. I think Kano's previously wild when I think they went to S2. So pretty cool, man. Seeing a lot of people. There we go. They got Sliverfang. We got Coffee. Dude, very nice, very nice, very nice. So, okay, so now they're in the situation, right, where the stalemate's kind of breaking. You see the southern forces are starting to push up a little bit more here. And again, I like how they're spreading, right? I want to point this out. This is really important because you've heard me talk about this before, where you don't want to bunch up. And you can see there's not a lot of players that are really condensed, maybe with the exception of starting to pile over here on the right side. But I like that they're spread across because it limits the amount of additional AoE damage that any groups or larger groups of legions are going to take, would be taking upon themselves. All right. All right, so again, this is cool, man. I like how we're, like semi-advancing some tactics here, right? But again, pushing to get, and this is the thing, right? If you're going to push on one side, you got to push on the other sides, right? Don't just heavy push on one side, right? If you're going to push on a heavy on the right, poke on the left. If you heavy push the left, you poke on the right, right? And then the moment you feel like an advantage is being created, then you pounce on that advantage, right? An example would be here, right? It would be smart for them to already start moving in and then flanking like wide, right? So you don't come in this way, you come in this way, right? Because you're able to keep yourself at max distance, and then you're picking them off one by one, and then you slowly start to sandwich, right? That's one way that they could go about doing it. Dude, Lexi going, and this is the thing, right? Bundled up a lot here, right? This is great time bomb opportunity. If you're going to be throwing that out, shadow games again as well. There's just a lot that's going on. Lady looks at me, she's like, "What are you doing?" But man, this is dope, right? So we're seeing a lot. I love how I just have this gold flicker, right? I don't think this should be happening, but I just want to point out that I think it's really giving us a higher level of atmosphere and ambiance to the commentary that I'm providing. There's our boy Classic Job coming in. Okay, so we got the Madeline, we got Nika. Let me see who we got. So a lot of Waldirs that we're seeing, right? This is pretty standard. We're seeing like the Waldir Lilia, the Lilia Waldir. That's been pretty consistent. I've even seen people run Lilia Atheist and then Waldir Atheist just because of the magic. Some of the magic buffs or skills there. And then we got some Nikos here for some of the archers. You can see quite a few there. Again, notice when you're watching the Waldirs or the Lilias, right, you're going to most often see a Lilia Waldir, Waldir Lilia. We even saw a Waldir Alwyn as well, right there from one of the Southerns. And then you got some Guanwins as well that are running a peacekeeping, but still has some good toolkits for ranged. Let's see. And you got a bunch of these NT45 guys that are just chilling, like Dazai, Gans, Julag Zell, right? Maybe Anya-chan, dude. Oh no, she's moving. Okay, cool. I was gonna say, dude, Spy X Family. I thought episode 24 was the finale, but it wasn't. Oh, it's so good, man. Just so dope. So here, right, this is what I'm talking about, where you have GOK, go over here. Start flanking, right? No, don't go too deep, right? But I would say go maybe about where Shadow is, or maybe over here a little bit more in front of this level 10, and then just start hitting them from the side, right, trying to poke, because the thing is, that's what's happening, right? You're kind of doing the range, outrange gain. Ooh, Divine Mercy getting thrown down. Nice, get a little heal there. Oh, another heal coming over here. Ooh, nice. I think these are the tier of Arbins that are being hit, because there's only 4 that are being healed. So, and you can see, I don't know if anyone has noticed, but the tier of Arbin, like circle range. Ooh, nice, dude. Time Bomb got thrown out. I think that was an Acid Breath that got thrown out as well, right? That's that DOT artifact that just basically just does the damage over time. Oh, man, this is so cool. I'm actually just happy that my emulator has stayed alive for this long. That's probably the more important part. Yeah, that was been great. This is cool. Let me see, we got Nightmare. Who else is over here? Oh, dude, is someone hitting them from the ridge? Oh, dude, no. Wow, did they oh, dude, that's so sick. Yo, Chocks, what up? Okay, I was gonna say, man, they procced this. I was wondering if anyone was gonna go back up to the ridge and then start doing some shots down again. So yeah, this is just like the ranged poke game, right? So you're gonna see a lot of mages being used here just because they have the farthest range, a little bit farther than archers, and of course farther than siege. Ooh, Shockwave. Oh, was this the rally? See, someone told me that yesterday Shockwave was doing the rally thing, and that's why, and I guess he was being blocked by infantry, which, you know, I've seen people post screenshots and talk about it, but I've never seen it live before with it actually happening and you seeing the interrupt. And so a part of me just feels like that just shouldn't be able to happen. I'm not sure what everyone else's feelings are there, but part of me feels like if you're doing a rally, that rally shouldn't be able to be blocked. Now, you can attack the rally. I think that is totally fine. But having something, and I'm sure that if it is truly a bug or something that shouldn't happen, I'm sure it'll get fixed. So now you see that, again, the Southern forces have pushed up right now to the barricades of the Northern forces. This is not a bad position to be in, right? Even if they're losing some ground, it is okay for them to do that, because the moment that you start having some of the Southern forces overextend, right? So this is the thing, right? If you're not pushing all together and you're kind of, you know, poking and prodding in one by one. Yeah, what I will say is one of the things I'm really liking about seeing this is I love the restraint. Right, this is something that I think is really important to hit on. We really haven't seen too many players, and I think this speaks volumes to both sides, is that easy peasy, what up? Is that we haven't seen either side really truly overextend or have multiple players overextend where they're taking a lot of damage. So I like that we're seeing a little bit more, again, to use the same word, I think we are seeing some good restraint here from both sides, which hopefully speaks to some of the coordination, some of the organization. Maybe they have some more people that are in voice. But so now we're kind of back at this stalemate. And remember, to interrupt stalemates, you have to create advantages. You have to create mismatches. And that's a combination of using range to target solo players. Like, for example, hitting someone like Tony coming over here and, doing that, right? Anyone that overextends, right? You basically pounce on those individuals. Having flying units flanking, right? And you can see, oh, dude, so see what I'm talking about? Prime example, dude. Like, so I'm talking about Neo, Noor, great opportunity, and the same thing with Rokok here, hitting Psych from 4BDN, right? Again, focusing on that max range, and now he can even go and pick Percival, right? Which is from Ready Player One, right? Fantastic, can't wait for Ready Player Two. But this is a great example of them flanking and hitting them from the side. Man, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I love seeing this. And then, yeah, right? And then the moment you feel like you're going to get targeted, then yeah, sure, you back up a little bit. And then the moment that another match, like, so in this case, him hitting Galvatron, right, would be another good example. Looks like he might be positioning for that, maybe going to miss it, but that's something. On the flip side, you can actually see Forbidden or one of these guys target the Darkling Guard troll, and then see if that might proc them to start hitting Mental and Nior, right? So you do have some options. Obviously, if there wasn't any PvE units up here, then it would be a lot easier in that regard. But yeah, dude, I love what Mental and Nior are doing. I would have positioned a few mages, maybe like 3 or 4 up here, and then basically just started hitting these individuals at max range, right? And this is the thing, is that they're paying attention. So you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're taking unnecessary damage, right? You constantly want to be looking for the mismatches. And I wonder, oh, dude, so there's another one. So here comes Enoch from UNT. Yeah, because if they wanted to come up, I don't even know where their bridge is to get in. Wow, they'd actually have to go all the way around, I think. Yeah. Wow. So, oh, wow. So they could. 4BN1 could actually send players over here to the ridge. Yeah, where am I going here? Hang on, did I lose my spot? Yeah. So they could send players actually over here to the ridge if they wanted to counter, but they'd have to be paying attention to that, and then obviously scouting it ahead of time so they would know, right, that they can go that far. Yeah, so no more behemoths have been summoned. Oh, a little bit more of a push in now. I wonder if we're going to see a little bit of a YOLO here. And this is the thing, right? If you're going to push in, then you have to all go in, right? It can't just be a few people going in and then you're stopping. You all have to go in, because if you do all go in, because of the slow that the barricades provide, right? If you don't want the slow to be that impactful, then you basically have to somewhat all in. So that way everyone's kind of fighting on a fair playing field, and then you're not overextending a small groups by small groups, and then you're allowing for them to pick you off, and then once that group gets low on health, right, they try to retreat, but the barricade slow is affecting it, so that way the opposition is able to take more advantage. And typically this is how you want to try and do it if you decide to do it that way, and you're not going to kind of do the slow, prodding away at your opponent's legions and just overall health, and then you go ahead and do the all-in, right, when you feel like you have a little bit more numbers advantage. Yeah, this isn't bad, though. I mean, again, I part of me feels like maybe they clumped up a little bit too much here on this side. But, I mean, we'll see. I mean, again, right, it still looks like the Southern forces have a little bit more of a numbers advantage in this case. Oh, wow, looks like we're seeing a little bit more push out. And again, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of TA players here, even a lot of TR. Like, we're mostly seeing NT45 and Forbidden players at the moment. Even 4B1, I don't think I've even seen one of them. Maybe there has been, and I just missed it. But again, that's a lot of what we've been seeing so far, right? And 4BN1 has players online, so I'm not sure why they haven't sent them. Same thing, I'm sure, with TA and TR, right? They have to have more players online, unless they're fighting, let me say this, unless they're fighting somewhere else on the map, and we're just not seeing that action, because we're just focused here on this kind of choke point side river pathing fight. Ooh, dude, double time bombs going down. And see, this is the thing. When time bomb is down, right, and again, you can see that hit multiple targets. Oh, man, another multiple targets. When those are hit, You want to make sure that you're spreading at least as much as you can, right, to avoid. Or, for example, if your Legion is low health, then the best thing to do is just to go back in to your opponent's legions, right, or go in the opposite direction. So you're just reducing the amount of overall damage. Like if you know you're really low on health and the time bomb gets put on you, then yeah, right, be sure that you're just kind of, take one for the team, fam. Sacrifice, and then that way it's just less damage that you're dealing on your own team, on your allies. Oh, dude, look at this, man. So UNT, they're getting a little squad up here, man. You got Ena, Kakashi, Kanase, New York. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, though. If you're going to do it, you got to go together. It's got to be in unison. If you're going to go to the ridge, then you all have to basically start attacking. Like, I would go over here, and I start hitting Windblade. That's what I would do, right? You go wide, or you start hitting Classic Job. You like, look at this. And this is not bad. Oh, dude, look at the counterattack damage, though. So they're dealing 12, 14, 1206, right? But he's doing 13. I mean, it's just, again, it's not bad. Oh, never mind. I wonder if it was this my guy who ended up coming. But this is a good example. Look at that. They, just by doubling them, they got Job's unit down to half. Now think about if they had 4 or 5 units up here that were single target focusing together, right? Dude, just picking them off one by one, or at least forcing them away from the cliffs where they have to start paying more attention to it. And then that can also help your main forces as well, because you're just reducing, legion by legion, even though it's probably a little bit slower. Right, and then on the flip side, this is not bad, right? You have the flying hit from the river, and you have ranged hit from the cliff, and then you're starting to hit them from the middle as well. I mean, ooh, dude, that was a nice Shadow Games. If that ended up getting shot, that hit like at least 5 to 6 people, it looked like. Yeah, so we'll see. You can see the pathing lines as well that can give us a slight indication on who they're fighting. But this is the thing, man. When you have this many people, sometimes it can then be good to start breaking up into groups, right? Where you'll say, okay, hey, we're going to have 10 or 15 of you in a group, 10 or 15 of you in a group, and then you guys are just going to sit there and single target fire focus one legion at a time, right? So now, instead of you having 30 or 40 people hit one unit at a time, you're going kind of 2, 3, 4 single units at a time. So you're doing more overall damage in that way because you're spreading out the damage, especially if you have enough to where you can get units down. Now, obviously, if it's a tank unit like you're seeing here with a Curious, right, running kind of a Madeline Garwood, so you're running really more kind of tank, heal, sustain on that Legion, right, it might be better for you to have more people focusing that, if you notice, because you're just going to be able to crush it that much faster. This is the thing, right? If you're going to send infantry in, then you really have to make sure that you have the most amount of players that are backing up that infantry Legion send. So an example is you saw the north side send in that unit. If you're going to go all the way in, then you have to make sure that you have enough supporting cast, so that way while they're focusing the infantry unit and possibly using some artifact skills or even just their actives, you are dealing damage to their damage dealers, right, as much as you possibly can, without overextending too much, so you can take advantage of what the infantry is doing on that kind of tank CC side as much as they can. And that's really, in my opinion, I think what tanks should be running. I think tanks should be running kind of more CC-based artifacts, and or delays. Like I think something like the the Frozen Ring that we ended up seeing. I bet you I'm butchering the name, but something like that where it will negate all effects. Right? It basically just creates like this circle sphere of ice around you for about 4 or 5 seconds, and that's something that you can use to avoid some of the active skills, and then also for some of the active artifact skills as well, and that can just allow for you to sustain in the fight a little bit longer, so that when you allow for your supporting cast to do hopefully some more damage output. But yeah, this has been kind of cool, man. I mean, again, we're seeing some back and forth here, right? You can see that you're kind of seeing the backup, the push, the counter to that counter. Ooh, nice secret shield that got thrown down there, so you see some damage absorption, right, because the health bar isn't going down. However, in Shockwave's case, this archers. I mean, if you have a sacred shield that gets thrown down on you, or any type of absorption effect, right, you utilize that to push and do damage. Oh, I like how we're seeing the Emrys push here for Cav. Oh, dude, another Madeline. And this is the thing, right? Madeline should be going in hard, man. Don't just not go in, right? Let them focus you, because that's the thing, right? When you're that deep and they're all focusing you, then you can go ahead and use your other units to then focus. And that's the thing, everyone should know, like, hey, if you have an AoE artifact or something to that effect, Salve going down, right, then you should be using this. Dude, Tear of Arbin getting thrown down right here. Nice little heal there for at least the max, which I think now has been 4, because before I think it was at 8 or 9 or something ridiculous that you could just mass heal. So I know they ended up debuffing that artifact respectively. So, all right. Now we are back here to another stalemate. We're still seeing some of the back and forth. Again, I mean, it looks, I mean, you can see everyone's kind of condensing. It almost feels like we're playing a soccer match and everyone just heavy pushes onto one side. Let's see, we got Nightmare there. Wally, my boy. I mean, again, numbers are still looking pretty even right now, right? I think if TA or TR came, right, we could be seeing, and real quick, let's check. I'm just curious if we're going to see Bumblebee. Yeah, this has been cool. Let's see. I'm just curious. Let's see real quick if TA is doing anything on their side, right? So this is TA. 4BN1 is here. So I think they're, I don't know if they're clashing with YFT. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, okay, cool. Let's see what's going on. So, okay, so this is what we saw earlier. So, see, this is what I'm talking about. 4BN1 could go and support and fight. I don't know why they are. They have plenty of people online. I mean, again, it doesn't mean that you have to send everyone, but why not send at least half of your people over there to go and assist? This to me just seems like a little bit of a tactical misstep. Again, they're doing great with building flags and then destroying and pushing on YFT, because it doesn't seem like they're really meeting any resistance here. And then I think this is TA, so let's take a look and see what they're doing. Okay, so TA is still pushing as well, right? So this kind of gives us a little bit more of an indication where, right, they're pushing. I don't know if they're attacking anyone at all yet, but they have what? How much time do they got? They got 38 minutes until this flag is down unless they get more. I'm sure they'll go ahead and then take out this POS flag. It looks like they're building some roads. We have some upgrading here of cannon tower. Got about 10 minutes on that bad boy. Okay, so Tia's coming this way. Are they coming this way to kind of join the fight? Come this way? I'm not sure, because it's going to go... Oh, wow, dude, look. So TR's trying to get this... Oh, dude, oh my god, this is huge. I can't believe we didn't see this, and we're now just seeing this. So TR is placing a fort down here close to where Forbidden. This is the deepest fort that they've attempted to place so far. This is pretty huge. So essentially, while this ginormous fight is happening here on the western side, right, you got 4BN1 that's pushing YFT. TA is pushing down and closing more in on POS. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Kang. But it did seem like maybe, I couldn't tell if they were hitting because I don't know if we looked at it. But then TR's placing this deep center fort here. And they just have a bunch of players that are surrounding this. I wonder how much longer this has. Oh, wow, so it's already over half, and there's a bunch of TR. But this is my thing, man. If you got a bunch of TR here, why not send some of the TR to go ahead and fight? You got an hour left. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they'll join the fight after the fort is done, right? They got plus 25.55 per second build, less than an hour until this is done. And you got a lot of players that are just hanging around here. It doesn't seem like they're going to attempt to push this. However, I mean, you could make an argument. It's just, I don't know, man. I mean, you got a little bit too much going on over here right now with the fight. I'm sure this is where their main forces are engaged. Ooh, nice. We're seeing a little bit more of an all-out happening right now. This is nice. Let's get it. Oh, dude, see, there you go. Acid Breath coming down right there. Firm Rain Tile. You saw that going down right there. Fleeting Beauty. A Shadow Games being thrown down. I like here on the east side, we're seeing a little bit. Ooh, the one-on-one shadow right there between Sakar and Epsilon. This is Guanwin versus Emrys. Oh, it looks close, too, as well. That was Emrys Alistair. We got Guanwin Nico. And did they cancel each other out? Ooh, Epsilon won. A little bit of a one-on-one. I don't know if it was a pure one-on-one, but at least at halfway it was. That was pretty cool to see that. I actually thought the Cav might have won there with how it should be countering the archers, I believe. I have to go look at the unit comparison again. So, but yeah, dude, look at this. NT45 for BDN. Looks like they're going in a little bit more here and now putting some pressure on the Southern Alliances. Oh, dude, you got Shockwave. That's down in here too as well with the Hosk. Madeline just doing some nice sustained tank damage here. And you can see... right, they're getting, this is actually a really good situation. I want to point this out, right? So Shockwave goes in, you can see that a lot of the units here are trying to focus him. So that what that means is that, or at least they're hitting him, and every time they hit him, they're stalling, right? They're having to pause and stop. And so now you're having the northern side that's basically kind of going and picking them off one by one, or at least doing some more damage because of the fact that he's going in and kind of interrupting, right? Being that kind of CC disruptor as that tank unit. This actually I thought was very well done for this interaction here. Because this played out pretty much how I would have liked, how I imagined it in my head playing out. So nice to be able to see that we got the nice visual confirmation of that going. And again, that's what I'm talking about, man. Just going super heavy, sustained CC, and you're basically causing them to focus you, which while you have the supporting cast in this situation, this played out really well. This was awesome to see. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I mean, it's starting to seem pretty intense right now, just depending on how things are going. I mean, again, a great fight, but nice to see them hitting the push. You still have a bunch of other players, right, with obviously 4BN1, TA and TR, still doing their own thing, right, and haven't really joined the main fight. But if you think about it, this is kind of a 2v4-ish, maybe. I guess you could make the argument. I mean, you had a few other supporting casts that were coming in, but again, it also depends. Remember, on peak time, this may not be the Southern Forces peak time, right, that they have available to them. So that's also something to keep in mind, is that it just depends on that. I know, because usually the peak time fights I've been seeing have been a few hours before when we're recording now, right? Now, obviously, we'll still probably get some nice other peak fights here and there, or other peakish fights, I should say. But this was nice to see. Oh, dude, only one unit in the keep. I wonder if they're going to try and put a few more in here before this guy ends up getting wrecked. Oh, that might be a second. Oh, there's two that's getting thrown in. This is the thing. You can swarm these keeps, right? And that's something that's important. Don't fear the keeps, right? If you have enough damage, you swarm the keeps and you just kill the units one by one, and then you can go ahead and start oh, wow. This is interesting. So this is what I'm talking about, man. They should be damaging. Yeah, this is the thing, man. They should be able to. Okay, it looks like they are. Cool. Unless this is counterattack damage. But part of me feels like when you're going to the keep, you should be attacking the units inside of it first, and then going and destroying it. I don't know if this is some type of bug, because for whatever reason, it looks like when they're coming up to it, it's just they're immediately starting to reduce its durability, and that just shouldn't be the case, right? You should be able to attack the units first, not focusing on durability, because it looks like the only damage that they're taking right now inside the keep is possibly just from counterattack damage, just because with the unit inside the keep is just auto-targeting. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. They could hang out around the keep, and then what they do is they just hit the other units, is something that they could do, and then basically just let the counterattack damage do its thing, right? And just kind of avoiding the keep, or even doing something like this, going around here, right, and then hitting units. But now it looks like they're pushing back, which, again, probably is the right call in this situation. I want to point that out, right? It looked like they had a numbers advantage, but you slowly see that just more players are coming in to assist. So them making this early call to push back and essentially just kind of regroup, I actually think is a really good tactical call. And then if you want to re-push again, do so with numbers. Right. Alrighty. That, I think, is going to be it for me. Oh my gosh. Excuse the yawn. Man, this has been such a dope fight. Happy to give you guys a little bit of a lay of the land status update as well on how things are going. I'm at already about 30 minutes right now. And, oh gosh, again, I want to keep recording. I really do. Just, I don't want to lie about that. It's just, man, I don't want the videos to be too long. And we've already shown you guys a lot of great PvP action. So I'm going to see if there's another big engagement that happens a little bit later. And if we can record that, then we can try and push that video out a little bit later as well. However, I'm going to end it here. Let me know what you guys thought. I want to point out lastly, just as some conclusive thoughts here for myself, is I like that we saw a few moments of, again, kind of higher intellectual, strategic, and tactical play, right, in kind of instances. Again, I think we're still growing, and we're still going to be able to see what the capabilities and the capacity for, you know, kind of meta strategy, meta tactics that will just keep developing and getting better. But being able to see some nice glimmers of hope, if you will, throughout this fight, through the time we've been recording, has been great. So again, loved it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That is it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.